Bridgman for the pass. He'll move it up the right side, tapped into the middle by Brown. Fawcett works it ahead to Matty P. He scores! Right on cue. His ears were ringing true. Matty P rips it into the far corner. Hamilton sends it off the boards down low to Zach Lancer. 9 points in his last 8 games. Lancer below the net, looks for an option. Centering pass, scores! And it's Ruslan Karimov. Nifty centering pass by Zach Lancer, deposited home by the Russian. Chichkin gets angled into the left boards by Liam Pugh. Nice little play by the 15-year-old. Schultz in the slot. Down low for Pugh. He shoots. Scores! How did he find the back of the net right there? What a goal by 15-year-old forward Liam Pugh. On the side of the goal, it's centered in front. Great save by Schlenker. Varga was robbed. The centering pass from below the goal line.
Marek Schlenker comes and robs him the glove in the pad and makes a 10-bell save.
Intercepted at the line by Fawcett. Hands it off to Matty P. He'll walk in, drag and score! It's another one for Matty P with a rifle into the top corner. Behind the Regina net, Caden Brown lost it. Anderson in front. Kuzma's robbed. Rebound. Great save by Schlenker. Now chipped out to center. Here's Jay Saglin. He can fly. 2-on-1. Right wing side. Now to Paul in the middle. Backhander. Great save. Rebound. Scores! Jay Saglin deposits the rebound home. What a great read by Jay Saglin. He is such an important player to this Regina Pats team. It's played aside by Tabashnik. Here's Effer McNutt for Regina. 80 to center. Right wing side over the Brandon line. He'll cut in and fire a shot. Scores! Through the 5-hole of Ruzicka. It's the captain taking flight. Face-off won by the Pats. Hamilton to McNutt. One-timer scores! Second of the game for the captain, Effer McNutt. That's goal number 8 this season. 3 straight goals scored by the Regina Pats. This time, it's on the power play. Race for the puck. Ruzicka into the middle. Intercepted. Scores! Ruzicka turned it over the Brandon goaltender, and it's sent home by Zach Lancer. Ruzicka literally passed it to Zach Lancer. Here's Fawcett over the line for Regina. Stops into the slot, makes a move and scores! That is the beauty up the bar and in, and that is pretty, man.
Yes, Dante, that was a very pretty goal by Keats Fawcett, and a very pretty weekend for the Pats. Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. It's episode 224. It's January 11th. How are we doing tonight, Kevin?
Pretty good. Can't complain about that weekend.
Not at all. Not at all. 2 wins, pretty decent games. I mean, that's what we like to see, right?
Oh yeah, we needed that win against Red Deer. Got the win against Red Deer. Went into Brandon, and yeah, pulled out the W there. It's fantastic. Great weekend for the Blue Brigade.
Definitely. We're going to go through these games quick. Obviously 2 nice wins, and then we'll kind of touch on, there's lots of news. So we're going to start with these games, go through them, and then talk trades and all these other, or lack of trades on the Pat side of things. But roster news and, a few other notes to talk about for the Pats. But yeah, like you said, needed that win against Red Deer. Red Deer's kind of rolling a bit. They won again Saturday night. They won before the Pats game on Friday. So Red Deer passed them on Friday, but the Pats get a win against, it's always a pesky Red Deer team. It's always a tight checking, lower scoring game. And, you just basically you start off with a couple goals in the first period, right? And you just take the lead and they never look back, right?
Yeah, those quick goals were really nice. Minute apart. Like, can't beat that.
No, right? And then, you just, I don't want to say they hung on, but they just kind of battled with with Red Deer, and it was a pretty even game, I thought, right? Like there wasn't a ton of scoring chances. The shots even 30-29. Regina had some power plays, only 1 of 4 on the power play. The power play has been pretty good lately, getting a goal or 2 here. But the penalty kill, 1 of 2, that's kind of been an issue lately. But yeah,
when you only allow 1 on 2.
Yes,
you're only allowing 2 penalties. the other two power plays. That's huge itself.
Yes, right.
Stay out
So
of the
they
box.
and you can't get scored on shorthanded if you're
Exactly.
not in the box, right? So, but yeah, that was just a solid win, just to see that the trade deadline had passed at that point, right? And so maybe just some weight off the shoulders of guys. Obviously, Red Deer made a lot of trades. Their
A
roster was
lot, a lot.
a lot, right? But they just had gone into Brandon. They just beat Brandon. They come to Regina. They lost to Regina here, but the next night they turned it around and beat Swift Current. I mean, Swift Current is Swift Current, but they're playing decent hockey right now. So it was nice to see the Pats, come out with a solid win. Schlenker again, solid. He made there's a couple really good saves in that game as well for him. I mean, that's just kind of the norm, right? Like, I mean, we get into this interview with Dale, and we talk about Schlenker, like, because it's kind of a nice little addition that they made out of necessity, and it turned into
A
like
starter.
found money, right? Like,
Yes.
so not to tease the interview a little bit, but like they were basically going to get him for free, but they had to spend a draft pick on him so they could play him because they needed him. So
Yep.
you hear the rule and why they had to give up a draft pick for him, because they literally could have got him free off waivers. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, just a solid game. The Pew goal, I want to touch on that one though. To make it 3-0, but he makes this play himself. Like, he takes Alexei Chikchin, the ex Regina Pat. The guy's what, 6'6", whatever, like huge guy,
Big beast.
and little Liam Pugh, 15-year-old, puts him into the boards, takes the puck off him. Schultz gets it, returns it back to Pugh, and Pugh scores a really nice goal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chichkin, 6'5", 221, right? Like,
Yeah.
and Pugh's what, like 5'10", buck 50.
He,
6, 160. So yeah,
he's a little bit bigger, but
yeah,
he's slight.
slight. Yeah, I mean, he's still a boy, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I mean, that was just I've really
40 pounds difference basically.
yeah, and I've really liked his compete level. Like,
Oh yeah, it's
you don't
great.
know these kids coming in, and some of these kids, they score whatever, how many ever goals in minor hockey, and they can, offensive guys can be, that floater type, and you just don't know what to expect, right? But he's come in. I mean, he did play AAA last year, right? So he's playing older guys. Last year's a 14-year-old. But I've really liked his compete, right? And then obviously the skills there, right? So
He's got some sandpaper in his game.
yeah,
I like it.
so, and like we've mentioned before, he's a little bit ahead of Schultz, we think. Obviously, he's played more, right? It seems like he's gotten a groove at the WHL level.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, like you said, Schultz hasn't played as much. Hasn't been able to get the sync there, I guess. But
Yet,
they're both
right?
going to be they're both going to be really
Be
good.
fine. Yeah, they'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, and I mean, like we talk about it, going back and forth between two teams. It'd be different if they were both full time as
Yeah,
15s, but
exactly.
going back, that's such a hard thing I'd imagine, right? So,
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine it being full time one place and then kind of 2/3 time the other place kind of thing.
yeah,
Half
right.
time. Well, it's more than half time here, I guess. But
Yeah.
they do the Pat school and stuff. So
Um, yeah, so a couple of things. Obviously, Red Deer making those trades. You see Cole Temple back, Cameron Kuzma. I thought Cole Temple had some jump in his game. Had
yeah,
an
that's
assist.
pretty good.
Yeah, Kuzma, I didn't really notice him that much out there. But yeah, no, Temple, he was skating. He had a few shots on goal. But yeah, he picked up assist on the one goal. But yeah, other than that, what else you got from this game?
Matty P was playing his 150th game. Scored twice. His first career 2-goal game.
Okay, so on that, so obviously they brought it up on the jumbotron, and Dante and Drew are talking about it, It was like literally right before. It was the whistle before his goal. Like so,
Yeah,
like I didn't even realize that in house. But then when I went back and cut the clips for the show, I was like, oh, he literally scored right after they mentioned it.
yeah. I
So
noticed that, but I was busy getting the summary or the recap partially done for Dante.
yeah, and then yeah, then he scores another one. So and obviously uh, Brad had lots of good things to say. He's like, yeah, jumping up, making smart decisions, like so. And he's got some offensive side. Like he's only got 5 goals, but I mean, it's a defenseman, so nice to see that. I mean, defenseman's really scored this weekend. So,
Yeah, for sure.
um, but yeah, 150 for him. Um, that's yeah, good for him. Yeah, what else we got? And yeah, I don't have much else. So I mean, just a solid win, right?
Yeah, it was a much needed, solid win. Pretty well rounded, pretty well rounded game.
Yeah,
Stayed disciplined. They didn't get involved with any extracurriculars and stuff, so it's nice to see because usually the Pats are at the short end of that stuff. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Then I guess we'll go into this Brandon game. There's been a couple stinkers against Brandon, but the Pats have played him well. I think as a whole, um, they have scored a few goals against this team, against the starting goalie, anyways.
yeah,
Dante mentioned it during the game they'd scored 14 goals on Bill Bruzichka. He only lasted 2 periods,
yeah.
but I know even you mentioned it. Are they going to pull him? Like after he gave up the fourth goal to Lancet,
The
where
Lancer goal.
yeah, well, we literally put it on his stick. I mean, that was near the end of the
Taped it.
second.
Tape to tape pass.
Kind of hit Lancer like in the body, I think.
Wow, but it was
Yeah,
it was
it was right at
to
him,
him.
right to him, right, and then Lancer puts in the net to make it. I mean, it was a tie game at that point, right? So it
Yeah,
wasn't like it was. That was a huge goal, right?
but Brandon didn't have any momentum in the second period. They just couldn't get anything
No,
going.
like the second, even the third, like there wasn't much
Yeah,
there from Brandon. There wasn't. I
yeah.
don't want to say there wasn't pushback, but man, the Pats
There really
played.
wasn't. Like
Yeah,
for
like
being like an offensive team like that, like there really wasn't much
yeah, and it was a
pushback at
close
all.
game. It's not like it was a blowout. Like
Yeah,
Brandon gets the first 2 goals, and the Pats get the next 3, and then Brandon responds in that, and then it's tied 3-3, and then Lancer gets the goal, and then
like the
Fawcett,
gift, the gimme goal. Yeah,
yeah, and then Fawcett scores pretty soon after that, with a
yeah.
minute and a half to go in the second, and then you take the lead there, on those goals. And then yeah, like the third, like you said, it didn't seem like much. I mean, the Pats I thought played pretty solid defensively. Like,
They locked it down. Like it
yeah,
was.
like we haven't
They didn't
seen
have
a
to
lot
play
of
run
that,
and
right?
gun.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they were able to lock it down because I don't know. Brandon just didn't have their offensive guys. Just couldn't
hmm
get really going. Other than Mr. Blocker was flying around,
yeah, yeah, for
but you
sure.
hardly
But
you hardly heard Gavin's and Baumiller's name and Sirkan. Like,
yeah,
other
sure
than
can
the
like man, man, he's been really hot against the Pats.
yeah,
Um, and then even Baumüller, like yeah, he scored 1, but I mean, he didn't see him much out there, like so and but yeah, you look at it like Bame scored his first goal of the season. Like you said, where's Missabarker? Where's Klippenstein? Like they got some assists, but
yeah.
they, so so but yeah, I mean, you go into Brandon, like you get the absolutely needed win against Red Deer, and then you go and top it off with a win in Brandon, right? Like huge.
Fantastic,
Yeah,
huge,
fantastic.
fantastic win.
Right.
Tabby back in between the pipes. Great to see.
Yeah.
Picked up his third win of the season. It's crazy that he hasn't played since October
October.
29th. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
feels like last
Over
year almost already.
2 months, over 2 months, right?
Yeah.
So just good to see him back. Gave up a couple early there, but
Overall,
kind of got
played
back in
really
the
well.
groove. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Brandon only had 24 shots, 5 in the second. Like,
Yeah. Like I was shocked
yeah,
that
yeah,
there was really no pushback at all. Like there was I don't know I don't know what to say about Brandon. I don't know what their
yeah. They've
what
been
their
kind of up and
plans
down,
are.
right? Like,
Yeah.
they didn't make any moves at the deadline either, right? Like maybe a team you thought would add, but we get it in the interview we talk about the trade deadline as well with Dale, and like the asks were huge. I think that's
The
why
prices
yeah,
were pretty high apparently
yeah,
with a
yeah.
lot of
So
players.
and then you look at, not to get too far into this, but you look at what the other teams that did in this conference, and Brandon, well, I mean, thinking like I'm not putting words in their mouth, but like, okay, like is it worth it to spend some money and or spend these assets and only go a round or two?
Yeah,
Like you might not go any further if you spend on a guy, right? Like you might just go as far with your current team. So,
because
but
right now where they're at, they're in fifth.
right,
So
so you're gonna
if they finish five, they'll play
four.
Calgary.
Yeah, I mean
Calgary, Brandon, Saskatoon are the 4, 5, 6. So
they're
you
kind of in a
finish four,
group.
five.
Yeah,
You finish 4, 5. You probably play Calgary or Saskatoon, but you finish sixth.
yeah,
You
you
get
want to stay out of that
Edmonton.
sixth
You get
or
Edmonton or
PA
Medicine Hat.
or yeah, Medicine Hat, right? So yeah, you want to stay out of that six hole.
So
You want to stay in that 4-5 to give yourself a decent chance to get to the second round, right? So
and they must think they're strong enough to stay in the 4, 5 spots. So
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting last part of the season for a lot of these teams that decided to stay.
yeah, like
Pat,
Saskatoon as well, right?
yeah,
Like
Saskatoon, Regina,
probably a similar
Brandon,
situation. They're
and Moose
thinking,
Jaw. There's lots of talk about possible moves there, and they didn't do anything at the deadline either. So
no, yeah,
it's
interesting.
going to be interesting because some teams made a lot, some teams made none.
Hmm.
It'll be interesting to see where all these guys wind up when all the dust is settled.
Yeah. Anyways, so back to this Brand game. I mean, yeah, that just nice to see them play a solid game. Didn't get into the run gun where it kind of costs them, right? Like
Yeah,
Brad's talked about that. We get into those games and they have skill, but they just don't have enough skill, right? And they end up losing like the 8-5 or the 7-4 that they've lost to Brandon, right?
yeah.
So nice to see them get that win on the road. Yeah. So
They were
4
able to
points this
lock it
weekend.
down.
Yeah.
It was nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And Fawcett getting a couple goals. McNutt getting a couple goals too. Like that end to end one was really nice. Tabby gets an assist on it because he stopped it behind the net for McNutt.
Yeah,
And then McNutt goes end to end, gets a little bit of a cheap goal. It was a little weak one on Ruzicka. But yeah, like and then the second one, oh yeah, the second one on the power play, a great play by Karimov. Like I don't know who the center was, maybe Brown. He gets tied up, and Karimov was in there. He gets the win back to Hamilton, and Hamilton over to McNutt, and McNutt just hammers it home, right? But what a great play by Karimov just to get in
oh yeah.
there on the winger. He's made some good plays lately, that don't show up on the score sheet. Obviously, this one does, but I've really liked his game. He's, you're again like Euros. You don't know what you're going to get. Offensive kind of guy. Is he going to be? But we've talked about him before. He's a bigger guy. He's not kind of a floater. He doesn't seem to be like that typical European just skate around, right? So
Yeah.
I've liked his game lately.
He's definitely got the skill. It's
Yeah.
just being able to package it together, and he's looked pretty good lately.
Hmm. Actually, early in the game, he had a really good chance. Somebody threw it at the net, and he corralled it somehow and got like a backhand chance. I was like, oh man, that was a great play. He didn't score. Ruzicka made a nice save on it, but I was just like, oh, that was nice. But yeah. All right. What else? Anything else you got on that? These games this
No,
weekend?
not really. Surprise! I'm happy Lanzer was able to play on Saturday because getting hit into the penalty
Oh
box there,
yeah,
like
I forgot
back
about that. Yeah,
first into the penalty box.
yeah. The door was open, so you got like the corner of the boards in the low back, like that looked
Yeah,
like it hurt. But I mean, he did come back in Friday night's game. He was
yeah.
back out on the ice later, but yeah, I think it was just more just like probably little or to no padding. I don't know if he caught it on the pants where there's some padding or if it was above the
Well,
pants.
he was a question mark for the game on Saturday.
Oh,
So
was he? Okay.
yeah,
I didn't see that, but yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And
But
he
yeah,
did play, and he scored. So
yeah. So that must have hurt. Like you probably got, you hit any part of your body, on the corner of something.
oh yeah,
And then, but to get checked into the corner, like he was writhing on the ground on the ice, like,
oh
ugh.
yeah.
looked bad. But yeah, good to see him healthy, right? This team is finally healthy and like
Needs to stay healthy.
needs to stay healthy, right? The team plays good, right? Like before the road trip, they were playing good, they were healthy. You know, the road trip happened, they're down guys and in to the Christmas break, and now everybody's back, and you know, two solid games, like two wins that the Pats needed,
Oh yeah.
and everybody's there, right? Obviously, Pugh and Schultz played on Friday. They didn't make the road trip on Saturday, so you get Derkatch and Ubel in, and you know they they just roll, right? So nice to
Yeah,
see.
they're healthy. They got the roster now, so hopefully it continues
Yeah,
on.
yeah, guys can get comfortable and just kind of get set. And Dale mentioned that in their interview. He's like, just get some continuity, just you know, just kind of roll with what we got. He's like, I like what we got, so let's roll with it, right? And
Yeah.
don't want to screw around with, you know, you know, he like he says he mentions, you know, if we wanted to bring in an older forward or whatever, but the first ask was one of their young guys. Like he
Yeah.
mentions Lansard and Klassen by name. Like that was the first ask. Like, and the Pats aren't going to give up that, right? So,
No.
but yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's move on to kind of our other stuff here. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on this week. Obviously, the trade deadline. But Pats, there's lots of other news as well as the Pats. First, I got to mention it. Dante had his 300th game back in the end of December. Forgot to mention it for the last couple of weeks, but yeah, 300, big number. He's at 306 now. Yeah, he's been around a while now, so it's nice to see.
He's one of the longest serving Pats employees.
Yeah, yeah, current, right, current employees, right. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, obviously appreciate him with all his help with the show and stuff. So yeah, nice to see him kind of rolling there. It's a big number. And then yeah, some news. The skills competition is returning. I don't know. How long has it been since they had this? I don't. It's been
Since
a while.
before this ownership's had the team. So
Yeah, yeah,
2012, 13-ish.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's
Back
cool.
when Adam Brooks was number 10 still. So
Oh yeah.
that was one of the last years that they had it.
First, when his first couple of years is
Yes, first two seasons were number
it was
10, I
10.
think.
Yeah,
Maybe three.
something
I'm
like
not
that.
sure. I never really tracked it because nobody really covered it too much. So, and for some reason, I never kept that record. So I'll have to do a little more digging and try to find out who won all this stuff. But
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't even. It's been a while.
yeah, it's 2012, 13, 14.
Okay. Yeah. So
Before these guys got the team. So
yeah. So Tuesday, January 27th is the date. So I assume probably 7 p.m. Doesn't say, but
at the Cooperators.
oh, I didn't even notice that. All right. Okay. No, it says at the Brand Center.
Oh, it's at the Brand Center? I thought they said the Cooperators. Okay.
No, Brand Center on Tuesday, January 27th.
Okay.
So, and then yeah, they obviously got fast skater, hard shot, accurate shooter, stick handling, shootout competition, relay race, and one timer challenge. So, yeah, be interesting. That'd be kind of neat. Haven't seen one of those in a while, right? So, um, yeah. Then other news. Ephraim McNutt committed to Bentley University, and then Caden Brown is committed to Linwood University. So a couple guys looking to play NCAA next year. Yeah, I don't know too much about either of those programs. I think Lindenwood. I think we looked up, and it's kind of a newer program. They've only been Division One for the last like 4 or 5 years, and I don't really know anything about Bentley. So a couple of not the big name schools, obviously, but yeah, a couple opportunities for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Then the
There's
next.
another one that committed too.
Oh, who was that?
Keats Fawcett.
Oh, Fawcett. Did I forget about? That was a
He committed to Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, right? Yeah, yeah. How come
But
that's
it doesn't say if it's next year
or the year after?
or the year after. But
Oh, I
one
missed
can
that.
assume he's 19, so one can assume it's probably next year.
Could be next year. Could be the year after. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Bowling Green. Dennis Williams is there, ex Everett coach and coach Team Canada as well. He brought in a lot of CHL guys this year, so There's going to be he really obviously he knows the CHL, knows the WHL, so he brought in a ton of guys this year. So it'll be interesting
Yeah.
if it's next year or the year after.
According to Elite Prospects, can't guarantee that's right or not, but it says it's next year. So
It's first next year. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, see what happens. Obviously the Pats do have a few 19s. I know Miet's committed as well. I can't remember what school it is. Um, but yeah, because they've got 4 skaters and Schlenker as 20s for next year. So you're gonna lose.
Miet's Lindenwood University as well.
Oh, okay, there we go. So yeah, you're gonna lose 2 guys for sure next year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. What does it say on EP for him? Does it say?
For Miet,
Yeah,
next year, Lindenwood.
next year. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's not always right. So
Well, he had committed before he even came here. So
right, yes, he only came here because of the change, obviously, right? So,
yeah.
but yeah, okay. So see what happens there. So yeah. And then the other one I was going to bring up was a signing, Malin Wiley, the Pat C's, another Pat C,
Yeah.
um, is signed. So he's a 10, right? A 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
This year.
yeah. So another guy signed, and then yeah, I don't know what else we got for Pat's news. I think that's about it for Pat's news. Hey.
Other than the reassignments or the
Okay.
cuts
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
I guess talk about that. Yeah. Obviously, Hutchison, um, getting cut or reassigned, whatever you want to say. Obviously, with Tabby coming back, you got to move on from a goalie. Unfortunately, obviously a great, a great interview, a great.
Great interview.
We've mentioned it
Unfortunately, just the
before.
numbers.
Yeah, I know, and you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to be him, right? Like Tabby's the guy for maybe next year. See what happens with Sri Lanka, right? Could be tandem again next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, seems like a really great kid. But yeah, but he gets to go home. Gets to go home playing Nanaimo. So I obviously haven't talked to him about it, but I assume he's pretty pumped about that, right?
Yeah, the little clip or the little quote that they put out from there, they said he was happy to be back.
Okay. Oh
Happy to
yeah,
be playing in his hometown and stuff. So
I didn't read the Nanaimo release, so
yeah.
but yeah. And then the other one, obviously, Rylan Pierce. So a little bit of a interesting play there. Moving on from the 20, like we said, we got too many bodies. What are they going to do? Are they going to send a young guy down? But they want to play the young guys, so he's the odd man out there. So he signed with Red Deer. So or Weyburn.
Weyburn.
I don't know why I said Red Deer. That was weird. Weyburn Red Wings. So yeah, so he's kind of sticking around home, going to play with them. They picked up Weyburn. What's his name from Swift? The goalie,
Rocha.
Rocha. So they cut Rocha. They are going young with their goalies, younger. And so Weyburn picking up a couple, experienced guys for their playoff run, I assume. I don't know how
Yeah.
well Weyburn is, how good they're doing, but a couple good, nice additions for them. So
The quote from the Nanaimo's website, it says, "I'm really excited to join the Clippers and have the chance to play for my hometown. It's always been a dream of mine. I'm looking forward to bringing positive energy and experience to the team and being someone my teammates and coaches can rely on both on and off the ice."
nice. Yeah.
And if anybody from there is listening, watch him during warm-ups, watch for the pirouettes. It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. Like I said.
And I wonder if he'll keep the mustache when he goes there.
Seems like a pretty good kid. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So not gonna miss not being able to interview him or anything. So it's too bad. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's the name of the game, right? Like
Yeah.
guys get cut all the time, unfortunately. But yeah. All right. Nothing else for Pat's. I forgot about those. I totally didn't have that in my mind. Yeah, I guess just kind of touch on this trade deadline. It was pretty busy. Trade deadline day. I mean, there was quite a few trades on the day, but nothing crazy on the day. Like
Yeah, no big huge trades. Like a lot of just tinkering.
Yeah, the big trades got done earlier, right?
Yeah.
And my kind of takeaway was a lot of young guys getting moved, like talented young guys. A
Yeah.
guy like Iginla, Joe Ginla from Edmonton, Cameron Schmidt from Vancouver, Mathis Preston from Spokane. Like guys, like interesting moves. And I know John Keane tweeted out. He said some moves. Guys looking for a fresh start. So maybe some of these guys ask for trades, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Um, yeah. So
But
we don't
there
obviously.
was a lot of moves between the fifth and the eighth. There was
Yeah,
what 20 some trades or something like that in the league. So
yeah. So those are the ones that kind of like caught my eye. Obviously, the big ones like Coots, like what a deal! Like 12 pieces, like
that's massive.
that's huge. Obviously,
Well, the Schmidt trade. Schmidt for Hartman, two
yeah,
firsts, a second, a fourth, and a fifth. Two of them are conditional, but that's a massive trade.
yeah. That is big as well. Yeah, but I was just kind of surprised that he got moved. Obviously, Vancouver traded a couple guys like Oba Bifo as well, and then they bring in Preston after that, right? So
Yeah.
they move out Schmidt, but then they bring in Preston. So it's like, okay, would you want both those guys? Like, I don't know what Vancouver's doing. I know you get younger with Preston, obviously,
Yeah.
and you get younger with Iginla. So maybe they're just like, okay, well, let's move some guys because Seattle wants to make a run. They not a run, but I guess they got younger, right? Because they move out Coots, get a haul, but then they obviously paid a bunch for Schmidt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just interesting. Some of these moves definitely caught the eye. And then yeah, like I said, obviously there's lots of other deals, guys for guys and stuff like that. Kelowna, nothing. They didn't do anything crazy. Like they didn't. Obviously, they're hosting. I mean, their team hasn't been complete almost all year, right? The other Ginla, Tej, he's been gone. At Pro Camp, at World Juniors. I think he's played like 17 or 18 games with them, right? So, and
Yeah.
then they get Sihar from the Czech World Junior team. Like he comes now, so that's an ad, right?
Well,
Without
they got some defensemen. They got Alkos from
right,
Edmonton
okay,
and
yeah, Alcos,
Will Sharp from Vancouver. So
and a couple on the back end, but nothing like crazy. No crazy ad, right? Like no, like they've got a first. They've got what is it? Lethbridge's first this year. So like that's going to be a top 3 pick. Like they didn't give that up, right? Like they held on to it. They didn't mortgage their future too much. Like, there's a lot of talk of them being not the best team, but I think they're
no,
going to
sorry,
be
they traded Will Sharp. My bad. It was
okay.
they
Oh,
traded Sharp. They got Ty Halliburton.
right. Okay, yeah, he was the 20 that opened 20. So that was, they bring in Alcos from Edmonton and then Halberta, right?
Had a brain had it backwards.
Yeah. No, full for sure. But yeah, like they didn't go all crazy like Pat's 2018. So but yeah, we'll see they've taken a lot of flack, but I think they're going to be a half decent team, right? They're not going
What
to
are
be
they
a
gonna do with
pushover.
backup goalie if Benini's out for a while?
Right. So that just Saturday night he took a puck in the face on the bench. So
Yeah.
you said he's week to week on the really or
Yeah,
whatever.
someone posted that Kelowna put that he'd be a week to week.
Right. So he got
So
stretchered off the ice. That was kind of wild. Like he took a puck. I
yeah,
didn't see the video of him. I don't know if there is video of him taking the puck, but I only just seen a picture of him getting stretchered off the ice in his
yeah.
gear. Like,
Oh yeah,
so, like, yeah, interesting, crazy situation there, right? Obviously, the backup goalie isn't usually wearing a hat or whatever or nothing, and so because I know pretty much every other level, like junior A, you got to wear a visor. Like the backup goalie's wearing a helmet and visor, right? So,
yeah.
but yeah, see what happens there. They didn't do too much, but see what they do. Then Medicine Hat with getting Basha back, that was a nice return for them. So they obviously had 320s, and like obviously you don't know what's going on, but like Volotovsky, I thought would have been their last choice to trade.
Yeah.
So then Vancouver picks him up, a 20-year-old. So they're
Yeah,
adding a
exactly.
20-year-old. Like Vancouver of all places, I don't want to say I don't know what they're doing, but obviously they got their plan going on. But yeah, shipping out some guys, bringing in some guys. They're really changing it up, shaking things up in Vancouver.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, what else is there? Just looking through this list.
Some of the prices were just baffling. First round picks for like guys like Cade Rudig,
Yeah,
Noah Kosick.
Kosick. Yeah, I was
Like,
just looking at that one. Like Seattle gave up a first and a fourth and a player for Kosick, right? Like,
not that they're not worth it. It's just like the prices just seem all over
Yeah,
the
it
place.
seems like, I mean, Kozik's a 17-year-old American. Oh, he's dual citizenship, but yeah, I don't. He's got 10 goals as a 17-year-old. Like, I mean, he's with Swift Current.
Hmm.
So I see what happens. I mean, it does say he's on EP. It does say he's going to University of Michigan next year. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean that's I mean, going as an 18-year-old, that's see what happens, right? But like to give up that much on a guy that could be gone next year, right?
Yeah.
Like interesting, right? So
Maybe it's
maybe
not
he
next
sticks
year.
around.
So
Yeah, maybe
yeah,
not. Yeah, maybe they know other things, right? We're just looking
yeah,
at what's available or
it's available to us.
what's available to us. Yeah. So yeah, obviously PA makes the big deal with Coots, Medicine Hat. They get Basha, got to move on Volotovsky, and then bring in Luke Cousins from Lethbridge. I think that's a nice little ad for them. Like they're
Yeah,
on a roll. They don't need to do much. They've won, what is it, 17 in a row right now?
yeah. They're 1901 in one of the last 21 games.
Yeah. So
So
they didn't have to do too much. They're pretty set there.
yeah.
Um, and then Edmonton didn't do anything too crazy either. Like you
Well,
said,
they
they
got
moved out.
Southern.
Yeah, they picked him up and they moved out Alcos,
He's
like
a
you
pretty
said
good
before.
defenseman.
Um, yeah, but
Yeah.
again, like they didn't do anything too crazy, right? Like PA
No, not really. No.
is kind of the one that made the big deal
Well, and
for
they traded a
Coots.
Gimlin. They got Obobifo.
Yeah, they made a little
So
swap there, right? They didn't make, a
no
big.
mind blowing trades. They did that
Yeah, yeah.
before, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Like
Bifo was a
getting Feuder and Zemlak
Yeah. Bifo was a
before
year
Christmas.
older. We were just
Yeah.
looking at that trade. Like Gillen and Bifo both have 10 goals. Like it's kind of I
You're
don't want to
gaining
say.
a year or
Yeah,
losing a year in age.
you're
That's pretty
using
much
it
it.
for Edmonton, just a little more experience, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I think Bifo, he's a bigger body guy too, right? Like he's a bigger
Yeah.
guy. Gillen's a little smaller. But yeah, and then Everett, they didn't do anything crazy either. They made a couple deals earlier, like we mentioned. Getting out Vluswick out of Red Deer, and then they didn't do. Did they do anything?
They
No, they
traded
moved.
Rudig
Oh, they picked up Rudig. Yeah,
or picked
that's
up
right.
Rudig.
And they
Traded for
moved out a
Rudig.
couple guys too,
Yeah.
Seidel and Fisher. So, but yeah, nothing crazy for them. But I mean, they are doing quite well. Obviously, first in the league. Um, but yeah, see what happens. I think maybe there was some pushback. Like Everett, they've had some good teams, but have struggled in the playoffs lately. So I don't know. Maybe people wanted an ad or two, maybe a bigger name, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyways, any other takeaways from the trade deadline and such here in the last few days?
No, other than at first I was kind of not baffled, like kind of baffled that the Pats didn't do anything. But then the more I heard about it, and the more I heard that multiple GMs were saying that the
Yeah,
prices were extremely high, and I realized that if the Pats would have made a move to maybe get a year older somewhere, one of the positions, whatever, they're still battling for the same play, like the potential playoff spot. They're battling for seventh, eighth.
yeah. Like we
They make
said,
a trade, they trade off a couple young guys, whatever. They get into seventh. They're going to either play PA, Massnet, or Edmonton in seventh or eighth. So like you're going to end up playing one of those teams anyway, no matter what you do if you make the playoffs, because they're not going to catch fifth. They're not going to get to fifth. So
no,
I'm kind of happy.
fine with that. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm at first I was like kind of like I said, kind of baffled. Like I was expecting something
maybe
with
to
what
add.
was yeah, with what was being said. I kind of expected something like maybe not like a big, huge deal, but like some
Yeah, yeah.
tinkering.
Yeah, and
But then
I mean, Dale did say like when they traded Mays, we're gonna use these picks here and try to make our team better. But like, okay, does trading a third, one of those thirds, or two of those thirds for a guy, just like a mid-tier guy, like is that really make your team better? And then if you bring in a guy, you've got to move out a guy or send down a guy or cut a guy. Like, is that really
But
making your team any better? Like you
pretty much
said,
anytime they want to trade someone or force someone, they'd have to trade. They wanted a player back, and like
yeah,
you said earlier, they wanted one of the young guys,
and that's
and
a hard no, right? So
that's a hard no.
yeah, I mean the Pats aren't making a run for the title this year, so like I said, I'm fine with it, right? Like once you
Yeah,
find out the details and kind of get into it,
and like I said, with
it's
the other GMs even saying that the prices
yeah,
were
yeah,
really high this year, that's usually not something that's kind of like a big thing. But I
yeah,
guess
like
they're
it's
the WHL is hosting this year, so I guess everything gets driven up a little bit
a
more
little bit,
than it
yeah, but
probably
yeah,
should be.
for the GMs to come out and say it was, you don't really hear that too often, right?
No, you might hear one
Publicly,
say,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, you might hear one say, oh, that it was expensive this year or whatever, but not like
yeah,
multiple different GMs saying that. It's like, and with the whole uncertainty with NCAA, the players potentially could just next year just say, hey, we're gone, like see you later,
yeah,
kind of thing, right? So
yeah. So do you want to go make a huge pay for a 17 or 18 that could be gone next year, right?
yeah,
Like
for
the
half a
PA,
season of
yeah, right. The PA knows they're only getting coots for this year. Like they know that ahead of time,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
but some of these other guys that you think you're going to get for 2 years, maybe not, right? Like
exactly, yeah.
this year and next year, or even
Could be
more.
for 30 games, or it could be a
Yeah,
season and a half.
right. So yeah, it definitely obviously it throws a wrench into things, right?
Oh yeah,
But yeah, so if that's all you got, I don't know if I have anything else we should talk about this interview with Dale. Obviously, we sit down with him and kind of just recap kind of his start, kind of go back and start at the beginning, right when we took over as a GM um in the spring here, and then we kind of go back and forth. We're a little bit all over the map, but we kind of touch on quite a few things with him. Obviously, some of the deals he's made this year. We talk about the Schlenker deal, how that was a necessity at the time, and turned out, like I said, found money. Like you found a starter, like
oh yeah.
um, for a guy that was a ninth. Um, and then yeah, kind of get into the other trades. And then just like we said, just his thought at the trade deadline and why he didn't make any moves. And like we said, prices were high. He was fine with the group and just some cohesion, like he talked about last year, like how much how wild it was, just so many guys in and out last year, right?
The
Just
turmoil
gets
last year,
the
I couldn't
turmoil is a great
imagine. I
word, yeah.
still couldn't imagine the turmoil that was going on with
Yeah,
all the guys coming and
right.
going and coming and going.
So, and he's like, at Christmas, I said, I believe in you guys. Let's go with this. And then he said again this week, he mentioned that he reiterated that to the team. And I mean, I'm sure that makes the players feel good. Like, okay, hey, like nothing's going crazy. It's just us. Let's roll. Right. And then
Yeah,
you come out with 2 wins this weekend. Right. So it's paid off so far. Right. I mean, and like I said, is it really worth making a big move? And it's not going to help you in the playoff in the long run, right?
yeah. Like I
Or
said,
in the short term, anyway. Yeah,
no matter what they do, if they make the playoffs, which I hope
yeah,
they will, they're not going to get out of seventh or eighth
yeah,
unless some sort of miracle happens where they go on a big tear. Which
yeah. Yeah, I would like to see that, but
I'd love to see it, but I don't see it
yeah,
because
being realistic
they'd
here,
have to
right?
get what they're 14 points out of sixth. So
Yeah, that's a big.
that's massive.
Yeah,
So
I mean they're only 3 back in Moose Jaw. There's a
yeah,
game in hand. They're kind of creeping up to that Moose Jaw there, obviously. But yeah, like you said, you're gonna play one of those top three teams there. They're gonna be either three of those teams could win the league, right? So
pretty much,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, and then Calgary, Brandon, Saskatoon, they're kind of battling for that 4-5 to stay out of the 6 hole, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, Moose Jaw, Regina, Red Deer, kind of battling for 7-8. So, but yeah, yeah. And then what else did we touch on with Dale? I mean, we did ask some questions that he's touched on before, but you may have not heard them. We touched on the Dace trade, and he's like, yeah, it wasn't my idea. It was up to him. If he wanted to come here, he could have went to other teams. There was other offers PA had, so I made it up to him. And I know one comment stuck out to me though. I mean, obviously with the Pats, I mean, they're doing all right. They had a bit of a tough stretch there with the road trip and in the Christmas time. But like he's like, yeah, Dace does see the comments online, and like people are just stupid online, right? Like people make the dumbest comments. And it's just unfortunate. Like the players do see that, and it's tough to hear that, obviously if they don't want to see it, they got to stay off, which is tough, right? Like these are kids, they're on the internet, and
they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's just tough that that those comments, the players do see that, and it's they're kids, right? Like they take that stuff, and it's just it was just like it just stuck out, and I was like, oh geez, that's too bad. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, whatever. Like there's pro sports, whatever. Those guys get paid, whatever. They're not really on. They don't see your stuff, right? But local kids, local team, right? It's just So, but other than that, it was a really good interview. Obviously, first time sitting down with him. And yeah, I mean, we went through a few things. He had lots of things to say, so it was good, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Learned something about the waivers. It's interesting. I had no idea. I knew there was some sort of delay when you went to do a claim on a player, but I didn't realize you had to wait a week before you could actually use the player. So that's why the Pats traded a pick for Schlenker. That ended up being a pretty decent trade.
Yeah.
So far, anyway.
Right. And like you mentioned to me, it's like it probably stops funny business, right? Like teams just putting guys on waivers for another team to pick up or something, right? Obviously, there's a delay, so you can't just pick up a guy right away. So, but yeah, because I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, they needed him, so they had to send a pick.
Yeah,
and so, but
and it's worked out so far.
It's worked out real well, I think so. But yeah, if you nothing else, then I guess we'll go to this interview. All right, well, pleased to welcome on Dale Derkatch, GM of your Regina Pats. Welcome, Dale.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on and spending some time and just talk about this season, kind of the first half, kind of go through some stuff as your first season as GM. So heading back to June, you take over from Al. What was kind of your first thought? You're running this team now.
Yeah, for me, it was obviously quite an honor, and it's a privilege to be involved with this organization for starters, and then to be the one overseeing the hockey side of things. Pretty special for me, having played for the team, obviously, coached the team, scouted for the team. The only things I haven't done are athletic therapist and equipment manager. Maybe I'll get to those one day, but you never know.
How did you find out about Al getting the call to go to Hockey Canada?
There were rumors probably around January, and finally Al and I were traveling somewhere to a game together, and I just said, hey, Al, I don't know, you can tell me nothing if you want or whatever, but I hear there's rumors that you may be leaving. And at that point he said, there's been some talks or interest, but nothing concrete, so he wasn't sure, and we left it at that. And he did say, though, that if something comes up, he'll let me know, and as soon as he finds out if he is going to be moving on.
What did you think of Hockey Canada not making a spot for him, but making that position and then him taking that spot? Like, that seems to be a pretty good gig for him.
Oh, 100%. It's like anything. I think all of us, in whatever we do and whatever line of work we're in, you're always trying to move on and be at the highest level, just like a hockey player and in this league wants to move on and play in the NHL one day. So, I mean, working in the position he is with Hockey Canada would be somewhat of a top job. I think, it probably somewhat equal to a GM in the NHL, or that would be maybe then the next step for Al. So he's moving towards that, and really happy that he got that opportunity. I loved my year working with him. Again, we were only acquaintances prior to that. We weren't really friends, but I think over our year together, we got pretty close, and it was really great to work with him.
How steep was the learning curve becoming the assistant GM after being a scout? Like, how steep was that?
You know what? I had kind of done the assistant GM job in Prince Albert for 7 years. I was the director of player personnel, and Prince Albert, we had a small staff. It was just Bruno Campese was the GM, and I was generally
Everything
the assistant GM, director of player personnel. So head
Skills
scout.
coach.
Actually, I did skills coach
Yeah.
as well for a bit with them. So really, I had know how it all kind of works, how the things go. But of course, there's a few things, that I wasn't around to see with Bruno, day-to-day operations of not so much dealing with the players or that, but maybe more managing, your medical side of things. Your equipment manager needs to know what should we do in terms of sticks and budget, and there are things like that I didn't really have a lot to do with, but they're things that are just day-to-day now.
We kind of talked about it. Last year was kind of, I don't know, not odd, but just it was a lot of trades. Like obviously Al was trying to remake this team and start over and start fresh, and it was 18 some trades, and we thought, okay, well, it's not going to be that many this year, but it was about 12 trades this year, and we thought, what were you thinking? Were you thinking that you were going to have to make some more moves, or that many moves, or how did you think it all played out this year?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Coming in, though, I knew that we had 19 players returning, and they're all not going to make the team again, so I knew there'd be some moves there. I think the first goal for me was to bring some stability to the team in terms of leadership and get to a point where I could sort of lay off on the trades, have the players feel good about being here and not being worried about being traded and lots going on. So there were some early that happened. Then there was some out of necessity. I mean, we traded for Marek Schlenker because Pine got hurt, and we needed someone to step in and help out, and turned out to be pretty good. I'm very lucky. Marek's played amazing. And then we move along, and Tabashnik gets hurt, so now we bring in Hutchison. So those kinds of trades aren't done with any mind in doing it. They wouldn't have happened if there weren't injuries. Yeah. Actually, Ryland Pierce was another one. We were going on our U.S. trip. We only had, 6D because Bridgman was out for a long term. So some of those trades are not necessarily trading looking to improve the team or so on. You were looking to just bridge a gap and have players help out. But, in the case of Marek, he played his way onto the team. So good things do come out of some of those.
Got him for a pretty good deal, too.
Great deal. I'm going to have to send a bottle of wine to Penticton.
Yeah, like that was kind of my next point. Some are obviously out of necessity, and what have you learned so far as like managing this roster and the team as it's gone?
I think, like I said, I think I wanted to really bring a calmness to the team and stability. There was so much. The trading last year was a lot, and what was and it was trading away the older veteran leadership players. As you see this year, we stuck with those guys, and we need that here. We don't have any player that's like in his fifth year of being a Pat, started at 16, is here at 20. We've got a couple that are 3 years, and to build a team in the WHL for me starts and ends with the draft. It's done through the draft. You draft players you like, players you want to work with, the style of play you want to play, and you keep them through their career. And that's how I think you build. You can't go out and buy players. It doesn't happen. And really, honestly, trading is not a way to build a team. Yes, there are some trades that you do when maybe you're going for the cup or a conference championship. Those are good trades that you make for a top-end player. But just trading one player for one player, usually you're just trading sometimes a problem for another problem. And you know your problem. So, you have every team has their things. It's never perfect. These are people and young men, and you have to work with them. So for me, stabilizing the team, I know we didn't make any moves here. We'll probably get to it at this deadline. And I hear both sides. I hear people saying that's awesome, and you didn't make any. We like that because of the last couple of years, and other people upset, oh, you didn't go out and get someone to help the team. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just run with that. Like, obviously, you mentioned, with the Mays deal, you got those picks back, and you're looking to possibly add, and then you said you did do like this group, and then like you said, you didn't make any trades at the deadline. But I know we've both heard from various GMs across the league that the prices were quite high, and like you said, to make a move just to make a move just doesn't always make sense, right? So kind of what were your thoughts leading into like the last week here, and once you kind of got the lay of the landscape?
So I started early with making some offers for players that I thought would potentially be available and would get moved. And we're not talking Braden Coots. Like, we're not winning the championship here, so I'm not paying 7-8 pieces for a guy for 30 games to maybe make the playoffs. So I was looking more at potential players, maybe call it a second tier, like with teams that were probably going to unload those players because they knew they might not make the playoffs or so. So like a player like Dylan Cousins from Lethbridge, I put out a great offer for him, which involved picks and maybe an older player back. Well, pretty tough for that GM to trade that player to us because we're going to be playing that team. That player is also a 5-year in their program and has said to them he wants to stay unless he gets traded to a contender. So we're not getting that player. And this is generally how it played out the whole time. I had trouble making a trade to acquire because most of those older players, the teams want a player back. They don't want picks. They want a player they know. Like me giving a second, third, and a fourth round pick, they're good, but that GM, if he can get like a 08, like let's say a Klassen or a Lansard,
they'd be all over.
They're happy. They're happy. Well, I'm not giving up Klassen and Lansard. I'm sorry, because we're looking
to build
to
with
the
those
future.
guys.
For now, I want to make the playoffs.
For sure.
I want to make the playoffs, and I think we have a good opportunity here. But I'm also looking at the future of the team.
So what really made you decide to finally stand pat and not pull the trigger at all? Did like Red Deer unloading 5 or 6 guys or whatever, did that kind of settle things down here?
Here's the way I was looking at things. You got to be realistic and honest. For me, I was looking even before all the trades. There's 5 teams fighting for 2 playoff spots. We're one of those teams. I am not trading away anyone. I knew that. I knew we were not doing what we did the last 2 years. The only thing I would be was to add. But when I couldn't do that without giving up pieces, I still thought, looking at those other teams around, what they've done, we're in a playoff spot, tied for one at that time, we should be okay if we play like we can. So that was the thinking.
Yeah. You look at it like Swift Current's basically out of it. Like Lethbridge is selling off guys. Red Deer's really sold off, so that weakens them. It gets them younger. I mean, they've played well in the last few games. Yeah. So you're just playing the numbers game, right? And looking at it like your chances are pretty good.
That was my thinking. And I thought Moose Jaw was maybe going to make a couple moves too. They didn't. But we've played them pretty good this year, and so we're right there. Yeah. Like it's sure. Now I told these guys I believed in them at Christmas. I believed in the group, and I told them now today or yesterday we had a meeting. Told them that's why I didn't do anything. I believe in you guys, and I do.
Mm-hmm. And like lateral moves to make lateral moves, especially if you just squeak in, you end up playing Edmonton, PA, and it's net anyway. So it's like.
Yeah. There's, in my spot, there's a lot of different people involved that sort of want their part of it. You know, you got to remember we have a business side, and you know, selling off like last year doesn't do a lot of good for the fans and them coming and they're upset. So there's that part, and then there's your coaches. They want to get into the playoffs, and you know, they have their jobs, and then you have your players and some of the older players who haven't played in the playoffs, and they maybe want to get moved to a team. But you know, so I have all these different things coming at me, and I have to do what I feel is best for the organization, and you know, that's what I feel I did with what was presented when I was trying to do things.
Sometimes stability is the best thing.
Personally, for me, I guess over the course of the 36 games we've played or so, I can only really count on one hand the times I was upset with our effort, and maybe less than that. We usually were in the games. Like, it's not like last year. Last year you got down a couple goals, you were done. God, we played PA really good the other night.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I am impressed with our effort and competitiveness of these guys, and that's why I feel good about them. Like, you know, they still got to go out and play. The other teams play as well, but I'm not saying like, oh, we were down 2, now we're done. We've got a lot of guys that are really resilient, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah, resilient, that's the word I was just going to use. Like, how many comeback wins, come back in the games? Like, we haven't seen that in the last couple of years. It was, I don't want to say they folded the tent, but there just wasn't enough there to come back in the game. And this year is totally different. And, you know, like you said, there's been a couple poor efforts, but for the most part, it's been really good hockey this season.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm happy where we're at. Hey, listen, I like to win every game like anyone, but there's realistic. I just think we have some leaders that I was not going to move, because that's generally what teams like that we're going for, we're wanting from us. If they want our leaders, our older guys, and we haven't had leadership over the last couple of years.
Just looking league-wide, are you kind of surprised at kind of the higher end, like 17 and 18s that got moved, like from teams like a Preston or a Schmidt? Like, I was a little surprised by a couple of those names that got moved at this deadline.
Well, I can't talk for those GMs, but I think we have to look at the landscape. Right now, I would say, yeah, teams that are going for it, they do have some good 20s and so on and 19s, but a lot of teams now with the guys leaving for NCAA, I think you're looking more at the 18-year-old guys as being your main guys kind of on your teams. It seems there'll be the odd 19 stick around, but many of the 20s are leaving now. There aren't teams don't even have 3, a lot of them, like we don't. Red Deer didn't tonight. You know, so I don't know if it's going to be so much of a 19 and 20-year-old league moving forward, because those guys leave. So you're looking more maybe to your 17, 18-year-olds.
Yeah, it's still evolving. The stuff hasn't worked its way out yet.
Yeah.
It's
Not sure. No one
changing.
knows.
Yeah.
No one knows. No one knows.
I know that I heard a little clip from Fred Harvitson, the Penticton GM, and obviously he's got a lot of experience in building rosters like that, because he was always having guys leave, you know, Penticton as a junior A team. So maybe he's got a little bit of an inside track to the landscape, but he definitely, you know, mentioned it like he was, you know, they're doing really well this year, and he was looking to add, and he was just, you know, it just didn't work out. They made a couple small moves, but it just didn't work out, and so it's interesting to see how kind of they play it out as well.
Well, I'm interested actually with them too, because I look at the standings all the time, but I don't look so close at the other side. And I saw they were in second place, and then I look at the roster. They have 4 20-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they get
and
the
then
extra
they
one.
got a lot of 19-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, you can't go out like in junior A. You can go out normally and just buy players. You can get Americans from here, there. You know, outside your territory. There's no territory, whatever. That isn't going to be like that now moving forward for them. They're going to have to work through the draft as well.
Yeah, I think they did sign one random American. He's played recently there.
There was a couple guys over that way.
yeah, that just some random guys showed up, and
for sure they have probably had the inside track in terms of they have scouts down there.
Yeah.
And more than a lot of our team now, we're starting to try to get in there. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's interesting times, right?
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of the draft, let's rewind to before you became the GM. What did you think when the Pats were able to get Liam Pugh? Like how was your thought process being able to get that third overall pick?
It was pretty interesting. We had one of our scouts say, that's great. We're going to get Schultz. And why don't we try to move up and get Pugh as well? And we're all like, are you nuts? Then all of a sudden, there was a call from Kelowna about them wanting, we could flop picks and they'd move down if we gave them some. And normally you don't trade away first round picks. That's something you don't do in this league unless, you're getting high-end player and established players like a Coots or a Zellweger or whatever. So we talked about it and we said, well, we had talked that you would only move first-round picks if it were a exceptional circumstance. And we talked and we said, would this be one of those times? And I said, well, I think we gave up 2 first-round picks. I said, so if it's really because we're getting him, so it's really like you're only giving up one first-round pick. Yeah. I said, I think this is one of those situations, Al. I think this is something we should do. And that's kind of, we talked to Bruce Hamilton and said, okay, we're willing to flip and give you this. He had the second first-round pick out in the year 29, I think we had it. And I said to Al, why don't we, he was humming and hawing, why don't we move it up a year? He asked for it. I said, let's just move it up 1 year, big deal. And so we did. Maybe it was 28 to 27. And I was saying, letting him know we're serious. And we did that, and he's like, well, okay. And there we went. And we knew Edmonton was going to take who they did. So pretty certain we were set.
So obviously you guys didn't know you were picking first. So you're obviously scouting all these guys. Kind of what was it with Pugh that, let's make this move to get both of these guys?
I think you look at it, let's compare, for people to kind of maybe envision what Al and I saw. You look at, and I'm going to use some big names here, and they're not maybe those guys yet, but let's just envision how they play, their style of play. So I looked at, Maddox is like Sidney Crosby style, like an all-around player, a leader, can penalty kill, can do it all, right? And then Liam had a special offensive side that you don't find very often. His shot is wicked, and likened him to maybe someone like a Stamkos or something. So we just thought, that would be 2 pretty special guys if we could, we're able to get those 2 guys and see them playing together in the future, and that's kind of how we talked. Yeah, not to put too much pressure on the kids.
No. And I've used the comparison Kane and Taze. Yeah. Right. As obviously I haven't seen them a ton yet, and then just teammates, and one's the center, one's kind of the winger. So, but I mean, it is exciting, obviously, for the fan base to see these guys and grow and hopefully, lead this team.
What was the thought process of bringing him, or was it bringing him to Regina to play for the Pac Canadians, or was that on him? Was that his decision, or was it kind of a mutual kind of thing?
No, it was a process. So what happened was normally he shouldn't have been able to come by the regular rules, provincial rules. He has to stay in his province and play U18. But with the new rule that the 4 provincial branches made up, we said that that's kind of a little tough. Yeah. You're wanting this guy, or giving the guy this status to play 34 games, but you're going to make a 15-year-old travel back and forth and all over. It seemed a little bit.
It's almost impossible, right?
Sort of. So we said, how could we look at maybe getting him here full time? And it was a process. It was through Hockey Canada. You have to appeal and apply. We probably had to have 10 different letters written by different places. Hockey Saskatchewan, the WHL, our team, the parents, the player. There was a lot that went into it, and that package went to Hockey Canada, and they took it to their appeals board and looked at it. I personally thought they were going to say no. I thought, once you open that up, now you're going to have lots of people wanting to do those things. But I think realistically, if you're doing what's right for the player, having a 15-year-old travel, like in Liam's case, that would have been pretty crazy. So I think it makes sense if you're going to have that status out there that you give certain things that should be in place. And we were the guinea pigs for it all. Obviously, nothing's in place. Now there's going to be lots of things in place if they're going to continue with this. So we'll see. I'm having a meeting with those branch heads at some point here to go over how things went through the year and all the trials and tribulations. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know, like, how many games has Reed Nickel played with Everett, right? Like, it's just not the greatest situation. Obviously, Reed's out of Brandon. And
that's probably why. And,
Yeah.
their team is in a little different spot than ours.
Yeah, for sure.
Some different factors.
Was Liam considering the exceptional status? Which I know Maddox has mentioned that they considered it, but decided with the 34 games available that they'd go that route.
Yeah. I got to be honest, I've never asked him. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I
No,
haven't.
that's fine.
And I should have by now, but I guess it never came to my mind when he. I don't know. It just hasn't.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously, I mean, so kind of going into it, like, exceptional status, obviously, Maddox said he didn't want to handle that stuff and then be compared to guys like Bedard and such like that. And so he seems pretty happy with the 34-game situation. But, I mean, from the outside, man, that's got to be a huge just ask for them. So much on their plate. Obviously, it would be a lot easier if they just had one team. But how do you think they're handling it, the two-team situation, the travel? Like,
I hope there aren't too many people who listen to this or watch. But for you guys, I hope they do, but not the ones that... The boys have been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's the organizing of it all, the scheduling of it all.
Yeah.
You have two coaches who want them all the time. You
100%.
have parents and agents who
Yeah.
want a certain way. You have a business side to the Regina Pats that wants a certain... It has been interesting, and I, for some reason, am in the middle. Why, I don't know. I think when we started out, I was entrusted with putting the schedule together along with Tristan Fry and doing what was best for the boys to try to give them the best chance to be successful in with both organizations, and also rest and being able to school. But as we moved, it started to get where when schedules get a little bit changed because of whatever reason, there's a lot of people wondering why, and then there's a lot of talking, and it's just it's perfectly honest, it's been a lot. And it's the first time, so there's no right or wrong on things when you're doing it. So obviously, it's the first time, and it's evolving as we go. So it's been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. It's up to the adults in the room to figure it out, because they're not going to say no to anything, right?
Well,
I mean, they.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So.
they just want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
wanna
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
Back to trades. Dante. What was it like trading for Dace?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, there are people. I don't listen to I'm in the hockey. The people in the hockey know what's what. That wasn't something that I wanted or even thought of when he became available. I never thought of it once, because I know he also wasn't interested in something like that. He wanted to, go his own way, do his own thing. But I was watching my youngest son. He was in U18 AA tryouts, and I was standing by the glass and in the cooperators. And Brad has a son the same age, Haroff, our coach. He was watching. His son was on the other team. He walked over to me and said, how's it going? And we talked, and he goes, hey, would you ever think about trading for Dace? And I'm like, no, it's not something he would want, and not really. I think people are going to think because that's just the way people are. But he goes, well, we don't have a lot of those 4 and 5 year Pats on this team. Our culture, we don't have a lot of that leadership, guys who care about the logo on the front. And he said, I think Dace would be important for our team. I think he's a leader. He's a hard worker. He cares about the organization. I think it would be a good thing for our team if we were to have him. I said, well, I'm not sure about all that. I agree with that part, but I'm not sure if he'd want to. So I said, I'll ask him and see what he says. Dace, I called. He said, no, I'm not interested. And I said, okay, no problem. Brad wants to talk to you, though. And Brad called him and tried to explain why. And then I said, take the day and think about it, because Curtis Hunt at that time said he was going to maybe trade him. There were 2 other teams interested. And I said, I don't know where they are. Go do what you want. It's your choice. And then I called him the next day. He was supposed to call me back that night, and he didn't. And he was, I think, hard decision for him. And finally I said, okay, you got to make a decision here. We got to decide. And he said, okay, I'll do it. And so it wasn't hard really doing it. It's been more hard when he first got here, not me even knowing what the dynamics could be in terms of some of the players at first weren't sure, but there's like 6-7 guys in there he's played with, over the years, so they all knew, no big deal. But other guys don't know, right? There are guys that don't know him and don't know me, but after a month or 2, it was all fine. There's still some things that are hard for him, social media wise, that come out and bug him, but he's done a good job.
Yeah, for sure. So going back to Marek Schlenker, you talked about it, like it was out of necessity. You needed a goalie. It sounded like he was on the block day 1 since Penticton got him, and it wasn't like he was available for quite a while, and you were able to pick him up just for a 9th. And what did you see in him that enticed you? Obviously, you needed a goalie, but what made him the guy that you brought in, and it obviously is worked out quite well.
Yeah. Well, what we looked at was he was with Portland, right, and had played quite well. He was started for them, and and then talking to some other GMs and our own scouts, they said he's a pretty good goalie. Just he got taken by Penticton, I think maybe even in the import or the expansion draft.
Yeah.
So, and then what happened with Penticton is they had 3 goalies and they had to release one, and it was between him and an American, and they didn't feel right about releasing the American goalie, because when you start your pipeline and you want kids to come, you kind of got to stick with them, or then they go back and say, hey, they brought me in and then they cut me right away. And I don't know if there was much difference between the 2. So they were going to put him on, just drop him, and because no one was interested. And what happened was you can pick that guy up, and we would have got him because of our place in the standings the prior year. But if I waited and took him for free off the adds and deletes waiver or whatever, you have to wait 1 week before he can play. So I phoned Fred Arvidsson and said, okay, you're dropping him. Like, I would like to just bring him in. Like, what do you want? And he said, I'm dropping him, so just give me whatever. I said, okay. And that's how it all went. Yeah.
You bring in an import, Ruslan Karimov. How did that come about?
That's a weird one too. It's luck. I'm not going to sit there and say I knew him and I knew everything about him. Did look into him as a player, of course, once the name came to me. But actually, Al was part of it in some sense. Their GM for Sarnia was one of the GMs of one of the under-17 teams. And he was the GM for Maddox and Liam. So he had to contact me about them and get some information and all that. So Al put him in contact with me, and when he called me, he said, hey, I know you guys only have 1 import at the time. I'm going to drop this guy. He might go through waivers. I have younger guys that I need to play. That's why I'm dropping him. He's not a bad player. He's played for a year with us. You might want to look if he gets through the waivers in the Ontario League, you want to pick him up. And that's how that happened. Yeah.
So he has to go through OHL waivers first, and then he's then it's anybody.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't go standings across the CHL. Then it's just wide open.
It might have, but we looked at the standings across,
Again,
and
yeah.
we were lower than
Yes.
even the Quebec. Because remember, we started out, I think, 1-5 or 6.
Right.
We had a tough
Okay.
start. So we were even
At the
though,
top
so
of
it
the
wouldn't have
hype.
mattered. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think anyone else actually put in for him, but
Yeah.
we got him anyway.
Okay. Yeah. What else you got there,
So,
Kevin?
what is your message for the Pats fans for the last half of the year
Yeah.
and beyond?
Yeah, I just would like to thank them. Like, I don't know when this is airing or it's airing now live right now. I don't know. What is it? Is it?
Sunday night.
Sunday
It's
night.
gonna come on Sunday night,
So
yeah.
I like to thank them for a great crowd tonight. It's Friday night against Red Deer. Thank you for coming out. It's awesome, and the players really appreciate it because you guys bring energy, right? That's why you play. You want people in the stands. It's exciting. So I really thank the fans for that, and I hope that continues. I just think, and they've been great as is. I hear nothing but they are very impressed with our work ethic, compete, resilience. I hope the boys still, for the rest of the year, bring that. That'll keep the fans coming back, knowing that we're in the games and the boys are working hard to try to get the 2 points, and that's all you can really ask. And up till now, of course, you always want more fans, and we have to win them over. And let's hope the team keeps playing how they are, and we do. So
One step at a time.
one step at a time. We're looking at playoffs as that next step for us, and I'm proud of our boys. So thank you to the fans.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on tonight and spending some time with us.
Yeah, thanks, Dale.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys anytime.
You bet. Perfect. All right. Yeah, that was a great interview with Dale. Yeah, maybe we'll talk to him again after the season or into next season. Kind of get a lay of the land, what the plan is. Like you said, it's just cohesion. Just
Yeah, for sure. He
I
seems
like-
to be around a little bit more than
Than
Al
Al
was.
was.
So
100%,
he seems
yeah.
more available,
Mhm.
and that'll be nice.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll touch next week before we get out of here. Wednesday, Swift Current at home. Again, another game.
must win.
You got to have this game. You can't be losing to Swift
Must.
Current at home.
Must
Yeah.
win. Yeah.
You can't be passing up 2 points here.
Yeah.
And then it's Saturday. Victoria's here. So
Yeah.
Victoria. Let's see. Look at the standings. What's Victoria? They're 17,
17 and
14.
14.
Yeah. So, and 5-4 in their past 10, sitting in 8th place. So they're looking for points. It's a real tight, like we mentioned last week, I think, or the week before. The West is real tight. PG in 3rd, down to basically even Wenatchee's kind of, they're 10 out now, but PG at 48, down to Seattle at 34 in 11th. Like, that's 14 points.
Yeah.
Kind of wild. So, Seattle's looking to make some noise. Obviously, they brought in some guys. And then, Vancouver's made a whole swap, and Spokane's made some moves. Victoria didn't do anything at all, right? So,
Nope.
see what they bring to the table here.
I do know they're a little older. Their team's a little older, so
Okay.
that'll
don't
be
take-
interesting.
They don't take any penalties, so
Yeah.
not any, but they're the least penalized team in the league. So
Yep.
the power play opportunities might be slim, so the Pats are going to find some 5-on-5 goals.
And
They
they've
did
done
find
that
some
the last couple
this-
games. So
Yes, I was just about to say they did find some this weekend, right? So,
finally.
not relying on the power play. I mean, it's nice to see the power play is good. It's like 6th in the league ish, but they got to stay out of the box because the penalty kill is like 19 in the league. So, but they don't take a ton of penalties. But when they do take a penalty, it's a little rough. So, but see what happens there. But yeah, again, a must win against Swift and hopefully get a point or two against Victoria, right? So,
Yeah, for sure.
and then just the Wednesday, Saturday this weekend. That's it. So a couple games at home here before they go on a road trip in a little bit here to Alberta. So, but yeah, if anything else, you got anything else here before we get out of here? A little bit of a
No, I
longer
think
episode.
I think we've covered everything. Hopefully, you all did enjoy the interview with Dale, and
Yeah, I
thank-
think
thank him for being on and taking time out of his his night to come chat with us.
Yeah, he was raring to go right after the game. I was like, "Oh, let me do some interviews post game here, then and then we'll sit down with you." So it was, but yeah, it was good. We learned some stuff, and hopefully you learned some stuff. Kind of find out some of those not unwritten rules, but the not the non-public stuff, right? So trying to figure out some of these rules and stuff. So kind of poke and prod, see if we can find out some information, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, anyways, yeah, we should get out of here and see you at the rink this weekend.
Have a good one.